Alright guys, I'm Matt.
And I'm Rabea.
And this is Sound Like on Andertons TV.
Hi Matt.
Hello.
We're back in this particular room.
We're back in the video room, but at the beginning. But we thought we'd introduce this video, which is us trying to sound like the awesome Blackstone Cherry.
Yes. Some great classic sort of southern rock going on there.
It is beautiful.
And they're a beastly live band. I saw them at Download years ago and they just blew me away, to be fair, on the main stage. I'm going to be Chris Robertson.
And I'm going to be Ben Wells.
Yes.
So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Let's go and play some riffs and go and find some gear.
Let's do it! Alright.
Alright.
We're in the expensive room.
Yes, this is the wrong room, you might think, for sounding like Blackstone Cherry on a budget.
But if you look behind you, there is a whole plethora of PRS guitars.
Which Chris Robertson is a big user of.
Well, Chris Robertson now has his own PRS, right?
His own signature, so we should probably... In fact, we looked at it earlier, and I think it might be a bit pricey for what we need.
Yeah.
It's 859 quid at the moment in Andertons.
Which is just beyond.
Which would leave us with 640 to get everything else with, which is nothing.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing that we pointed out was that the SE range by PRS, the lowest price we found is $799. So we are struggling a bit in terms of price.
So I think we need to look at other options. So I suggest we go and do that.
Okay.
His signature guitar has a humbucker in the bridge.
Yes.
And a soap bar in the neck.
Yeah. Well, or in other words, P90.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking for. I'm not sure if it's entirely necessary, but it'd be good to have something at least in the ballpark.
Yeah, and I mean, the issue is we could go old school, get both Les Pauls, but I think really we should have a different guitar each.
There are a number of guitars with that pickup configuration, but less in the price range that we need. So,
well, there's one right next to us.
We are standing. That brings us nicely to this guitar here.
Well, this is the Shergold Masquerader 1. This is the SM01-SD, which is Seymour Duncan. That's what the SD stands for. Yeah. But yeah, you got a humbucker and a soap bar.
And it's 765 quid.
765, so it is at the very top end of our budget.
Yeah, you can't really get away.
The shape is definitely unique, but the cool thing is that you've got a solid rosewood neck, which is beautiful. I mean, it really, really is. Hand burnished as well. So, I don't know, man. I think it's kind of like, is it worth it? I think it might be. It's totally not the guitar you'd choose for Blackstone Cherry if you had if you didn't have a budget in mind. You wouldn't get this. So it's worth saying that because you guys are going to go,
why are you choosing that?
Why are you choosing that?
But it's all about sound,
yeah.
And we've really got to nail it with these guys.
Yes, we do. Well, let's give it a go.
Should we try it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I needed a Les Paul for Ben Wells, and I found this. It's the 2017. It's USA. It's the Les Paul Tribute Plus.
In faded cherry.
It's in faded cherry.
And I'm playing a cherry guitar too, see?
We're all about the cherries.
We're on trend.
And the Blackstone variety. But this is a beautiful, beautiful guitar. As I said before, he plays a combination of standards, customs, and classics. So this is it's the right kind of ballpark, right kind of money, and should sound pretty awesome.
Yeah, I reckon that'll get us close.
And it's USA.
I think there's a combination between the two guitars with the right amps, you know. I reckon yeah, I'm excited.
Let's do this. So I am looking for a PV amp, although having looked at PV amps just now for quite a while, we are under the impression that to get something that's giggable and as high fidelity as we want to achieve, they're a bit expensive.
Although it's worth pointing out that for the EVH 5153 mini heads, the little lunchbox heads, plus the 5150 1x12,
that's about 850 quid.
Which is amazing value.
That is really, really good. However, I have a guitar that's cost me about 700, so I'd already be above my budget without any pedals.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, because I want that American sound, I'm going to go for the Studio 20. Because it has, as you know, the infinite shape function, the ISF, which can take me from USA to UK in only 2 seconds.
And it does mean that you'll be playing a Black Star Cherry Gibson.
A Black Star...
Well, let's do it.
I think for the sake of alliteration, sound is secondary to a good pun.
We've been deliberating over amplifiers for Chris Robertson, and because he plays Butter amps, we don't get those here at Andertons, and also they're quite expensive, so we can't do that. We looked at the Fender Bass Breaker. I'm just not convinced it's going to achieve the sound that we need. We've used the tweaker before.
We have.
This is the 40 watt, so it's more than loud enough. It's got a couple of different sort of gain structures. You know, you can do the whole vintage modern thing, the AC, the Brit, the USA.
And yeah, it's got all these switching options. Just make it super flexible.
I think both us with this amp and the Black Star, because they have those shaping functions, probably be a pretty good bet to get us close. So I'm going to do that.
Okay, let's go and get some pedals.
So we've got the amps and we've got the guitars.
Yes, we do.
This is an expensive rig. I think we're both going to run over just by a little bit, especially me.
We're going to try not to though. I think we're both going to opt for the Boss OC3 Octave.
I'm going to use the Crybaby Mini Wah.
Yeah.
And the thing again is that there are Boss stomp boxes all over the place, tremolos, the choruses, all sorts of stuff that use specific songs, which I'm just going to rinse the budget. So I'm keeping it to the OC3, the Mini Wah, and let's just go and see what it sounds like to be Blackstone Cherry. We are back in the video room.
Yes, we've returned to our place of origin.
Yes, we did.
The
And
video room.
I'm just going to say this, surprisingly simple.
Actually more surprising than we had originally guessed.
Yes, and then we just before we get into the details of these rigs, like you know, we always pick specific song excerpts, which we've done with Blackstone Cherry. We found 3 songs that we liked, that we liked the riffs of, so we just played those. Unfortunately, they didn't really need us to incorporate the OC3s whatsoever.
No.
So this is a very simple guitar and amp setup for both.
It's very, very simple. However, we'll just shoot through the octave and just show you what it sounds like, because they sound great. So without further ado,
Chris Robertson, before you all kick off online, this is the Shergold Masquerader SM01-SD. Now, because we're going for sound like, we went specifically on pickup config, which is, you know, a humbucker in the bridge and a P90 or soak bar in the neck, and that is the sole reason we chose this guitar.
yes.
I think they're great guitars personally. I mean, of course, the shape is, for some people, a point of contention, but
this sounds like, not shaped like.
yeah,
so.
and the beautiful neck on this bad boy. I'm not just saying it, but the necks really do make these guitars such a joy to play. Really, really nice, and they sound killer. So, as much as it might not be visually anywhere close to Blackstone Cherry, it certainly feels and does the job that it should.
His signature guitar basically has the same pickup configuration, so
Yeah.
that's what we're going for. We saved, to be honest, with the price of these amps and the price of the guitars, we didn't have the budget for his SIG.
No, we didn't.
Which is a good 100
About 150 quid more, I think,
yeah,
than
100
this.
quid more maybe.
And that is going straight into, well, actually, I'm going into the OC3, but we'll get onto that later. The amplifier is the Igniter Tweaker 40 combo. And that was a pretty decent bet, because you can do loads of shaping, Brit, American, AC.
It is worth saying as well that if 40 watts was a bit too much for what you were after, we did, I mean, I'd say ideally, but we could have gone for the Igniter 15 combo, which unfortunately was out of stock when we're filming this, so we went 40. But to be honest, as we say, it's always the aim to get a giggable rig.
So on the tweaker, the way we're using it, particularly for these riffs, is on gain 2, and all the character switches, I suppose, are flicked down. So you've got the tight bass end, it's got the bright switch in, the mid cut, and it's the hot bias. along with the British EQ setting as well. It's also worth pointing out that these strings are probably an eights or something.
Or nines.
And we're tuned to drop C.
Yeah, they are pretty flappy, so you've got to be careful.
Yeah. Let me give you a quick chug. I mean, that's fat, isn't it?
That sounds really good.
It really does. It's got
That's
proper,
really, really cool.
balls out kind of mid-punchy.
Uber high gain.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
It's a nice feeling guitar. As I said, I'd put thicker strings on if I'm playing in drop C, but it feels so nice to play. That's the guitar, and I'll just give you the OC real quick. I've got this set to the drive octave, and this is how it sounds. There's a little riff as well. I don't know what riff that was.
That's delicious.
It is. I almost forgot I have a Crybaby Mini on the floor.
Of course, yeah. For the intro to Blind Man,
yes,
it was cocked, I think, pretty far forward.
Yeah, I had it literally on full. But yeah, the excerpts just didn't really account for those moments. So we made the most of the wire, at least.
Okay, so I have here this Gibson USA Tribute 2017 in Faded Cherry, which is a lovely, lovely burst. It's a satin finish guitar without your usual, well, I guess more traditional plastic binding. So it's all natural, even on the side of the neck here.
It is nice though.
It's really nice, yeah. It's all the whole thing's all satin. Double humbucker, kind of what you'd expect from a Les Paul. So it's just a bit over. It's just almost half my budget, but not quite. So yeah. That is running into the Blackstar Studio 20, which we've used before, and I don't have as many switching options as the Ignator. And actually, I got it for the American ISF setting, but it actually sounded better kind of in the middle and almost into British, which is unexpected.
Yeah.
And again, didn't use the OC3, but I'll show you what it sounds like. So it sounds really fat, sounds really cool. And
those are also really light gauge strings, and you're in drop C. So.
Yeah, so it's a bit shaky. But what else can I say? It just sounds great. Plays great.
Definitely, they have that tone in Blackstone Cherry.
Well, yeah, especially because they used to be. I think we referenced a couple of the older albums, and when they were both on Les Pauls.
They were, yeah.
So it really, really fits the bill. Really, really lovely guitar. Highly recommended.
In fairness, I would like to revisit this with a bi-busting, where we get some proper Les Pauls. And we can actually use the signature PRS.
Big amps, yeah, that'd be really nice.
And learn some more of the riffs. But as we said before, this is a sort of simple take on some of the Blackstone Cherry riffs with a really simple rig, to be honest.
As always, the links to all the gear is in the description box.
Yeah, please let us know what you think, and if you'd like to hear any other artists, of course, as you always do, comment in the comment section below.
Yes, and I guess that leaves us just to say that I've been Matt.
And I've been Rabea.
And this has been Sound Like on Andertons TV.
Peace out.
See ya.